welcome to the third episode of my Kenshi guide. I hope that the first two episodes helped you to get your bearings, to get a good start, to understand some of the game mechanics. And my goal right now is for us to earn some money and also raise some stats. And we're basically doing this with that little copper deposit outside of the hub. It's quite a walking distance, and it's going to take a little, even at high speed, to farm, but it's worth it, and I'm going to show you why. First, you can have a maximum of 5 pieces of ore in the output of the copper resource. You see that in the window right here. So as you can see, my character is farming like crazy, and now we're at 5 units. Let us open the inventory, hold the right mouse button on the deposit, and then that little pop-up comes up, that menu, and you choose inventory. We're going to remove those 5 pieces of ore. You see we have space for some more, so we're going to farm 2 more pieces. I do a right click, and then I also do a double left click to see my progress and to see the output. And so we need 2 more pieces of ore, which is going to take a little while. This is something where you could theoretically do something different, but also you want to be careful to make sure that you're not ambushed. And if you go AFK or whatever, that may be a problem. So you want to keep an eye on your character. And once again, always be careful about having the time run at its highest speed for too long. Keep an eye out. You will see a group of bandits run at you, or if you see like someone yelling at you. Oops. All right. Then make sure that you're available to make sure your character escapes. Oh, we actually could fit 1 more piece because I just ate my last bit of food. But let's stick with those 7 pieces for now. We're gonna run back into the hub. There's actually some fighting going on, and I guess by the time I get there, the fighting will hopefully be over. Or maybe not hopefully, I mean I could get involved. Yeah, it's over. I could now go and loot these bandits like I showed you in the previous video. Maybe we can... Is there a bandit leader here? There's a bone dog. Those are, by the way, pretty tough. So if you see a bone dog just aggroing you, good luck. You want to run away, because they will take you, especially in the beginning, they will take you out pretty quickly. So we're back at the bar. We're gonna sell our 7 pieces of loot, of ore, and 7 pieces at the sell price of 126 means we get 882 credits. Let us pick up a food cube. So we have some food there, and then we are gonna move back to our ore deposit. I mean, I could now stop and maybe, well, I could loot that dog, get the meat, because the meat sells at a pretty decent value as well. But let me just show you my little routine here, the grind that we're doing right now for some money and some stats. Now, last time I showed you that there is another bar right over here. Right, we're here at our deposit. Here's the bar. Why are we not selling here? Why are we running all the way over there into the hub to sell at the bar? Well, it's the reason is that we also want to raise our stats. And let me show you. You can see laboring, which is your work skill, which you raised by just mining, has already gone up to 51, which is pretty good. And you can see it climbing there. And then we have athletics, your ability to run faster, very useful for thieves, blah blah blah. It is improved by doing lots of running at full speed without encumbrance, and we are slightly encumbered when we carry that ore, but when we run back, we're not encumbered. And so we're raising our athletic skill, and it's already at 24. We for now are aiming at about 30 encumbrance. To make sure that we can run away from bandits and make it back to safety. So that's a nice way to raise it. And we also want to increase our strength, which we increase, as you can see at the bottom, by traveling around with a very heavy inventory encumbrance. Now, 7 pieces of ore are not going to encumber us too much. We'll see that in a second. But it does help a little bit to raise our strength. Once we get a better backpack, the wood backpack, for example, which allows us to stack the ore, which you can't do right now, unfortunately, that will make things easier. So we have farmed 5 pieces of ore. The output of the resource, of the copper resource, is now full. We hold the right mouse button on the resource and click on left. We remove the copper pieces, and then we're gonna farm some more. Right click on it as you start mining. Double left click shows you the output. You can see the progress. And we have room for 2 more pieces, so let's farm those. That is one of them. And there is another one. And then after that, once we have our 7 pieces, we move back. Once again, when you do this, especially if you have the time running fastly, you want to, yes, here we go. We have an ambush. So let us run back and move into town. And we see we're being attacked. So let us run right into the bar. And there we go. Let us slow down time. Let's zoom in. Let us switch off the block. And let us... Oops, that's me. There we go. Let us attack a target to raise our combat skill a little bit. We get help, so this is a pretty safe method. See, we're a little injured here. And we're already bandaging up. Yes. And it's gonna take us a little while to recover this after we bandaged. As you can see, the bars are not full yet. But the most important thing is that we bandaged and there is no red part. So we were just ambushed. Oh, this guy got back up. Way too late. We can actually fight safely if we do this. And also it's quite important we survived by running back into town. And now I could do the same thing again. Talk to the barman. Sell my ore. So we have an empty inventory. Now let's loot the stuff this bandit has. It's very convenient. And let's sell this crap. It's not, as you can see, sell value 49. Not too awesome, but pretty nice. Let's loot this guy as well. And sell. How much more convenient can it be, right? And imagine this scenario, right? You're standing in front of the barman in his bar. You're ripping the clothes off of those corpses. And walking over to him and selling him that stuff. Probably blood-drenched. So, and those guys moved the other corpses out. So, let's do this. Let me see if the... There, we have the bandit leader. That is gonna sell for 124. Pretty nice. So let's get this for now. Sell. And sell that sword and that armor. And we can continue doing this. So this was a disruption. This does not happen every time. We just went back to town. We survived the ambush. We got some extra money by selling the weapons and armor of those guys. But we also, for 882 credits, we sold the ore. And so we're going back to our ore deposit and farm some more. And as you can see, strength is at 5 right now, athletics 24, laboring at 52, very nice. We also have raised some saber skill because that's the kind of weapon we're using right now. Melee attack, melee defense. Pretty good. I mean, that's not really enough to really survive combat with a full group on your own. But that's a pretty safe method to raise our skill. So for now, even though it may not look like the most intriguing gameplay, what we're doing is we're farming a lot of copper, selling it in town, thereby also raising our stats, and I find that pretty cool, because if it was just about the money, okay, but we're earning money, and we are also raising our stats that way, and I'm gonna aim for about 25 to 30 1,000 credits before we move on and try to invest some money, get some cool stuff, and get a little foundation, a little base in the town. So, unless, you know, you feel like, oh my god, this is like brain-destroyingly boring, this is a great way to easily get some of your stats up, earn some money, while being relatively safe. To see if you get attacked, just run into town, run into the bar, and it should be fine. And so I'm gonna show you what happens when I'm done farming this, when I'm at about 25 to 30k, and then we'll continue. So be safe and keep an eye out for those bandits and have fun, you know, toiling away at your copper deposit. Oh, and another thing, as you saw, we were in combat, we were hurt a little bit, and I told you before, you will need some time to recover. As you can see, the head is damaged the most. It's slowly going up while I'm farming. Same for the chest, left arm, left leg. This will also slow down your process, then because your arm is hurt. And what you want to avoid is getting your legs hurt, because that will lower your run speed. So maybe if one of your legs gets hurt because you can't escape from the bandits quickly enough, maybe you want to stay closer to town and see whether you can recover. There's some bandits, I think. So just to be safe, we're moving out of the way. And let's go back to the deposit. Maybe you want to wait until your legs have recovered. And my leg almost is recovered. You can see the speed. It's going rather quickly, so we're at 90 already. Anyway, keep an eye on your stats. Make sure that you're hopefully at full health. If your legs get hurt, make sure you don't move too far away, because you will run slower until you've recovered fully. Yeah. Another essential stat is toughness. As you can see here, and in the description it says toughness is both physical and mental. It's how you survive out in the desert. Physically, it's your ability to take a beating and survive. You will also take less damage and will be less likely to stumble when hit by a weaker attack. So how do we raise this? Well, you raise this by actually getting your butt whooped in a fight. So when you get beaten up by bandits and you survive, you know, your toughness will go up. Of course, there's another way. It's like the less armor you wear, or if you're not wearing any armor at all, and fighting like that will increase your toughness. And as you know, or as we've seen before, if your character gets knocked out, he will play that. So the bandits will walk away, because they think you're dead. So, but if you get up, instead of continuing to play that, if you actually get up and they will probably attack you again, that will raise your toughness as well. Now, there are different methods of farming that kind of, or raising that stat up rather quickly. We'll get into that later. But for now, be aware that there is this stat, and it's rather important, of course, for combat and for your survivability. And even if you can't run away from the bandits quickly enough and you get attacked and they beat you up, don't see it as like a total loss or anything, because as you saw, it will raise your toughness. In the options, we have the whole thing about like losing limbs switched off, and if you want to be sure, you can lower the chance of characters getting killed. Oops, I went to the wrong deposit, sorry there. So basically, yes, it will kind of suck if you get hurt and you have to recover from it, still recovering from that last attack. But even if you get beaten up, doesn't feel good, of course, you know, mentally, but your toughness will go up. So that's another important step to look out for. So, you know, I mean, all of them are kind of important, but right now we want to focus on strength, on toughness. We also want to raise those stats I mentioned before. So if you happen to get captured, or not, not captured, but beaten up by those bandits, just endure it and see it as a training unit, because your toughness will increase. You may also have noticed that I did rearrange my inventory a little bit. I have a food cube, which I found on the vendor, which takes up only 6 squares in my inventory, and therefore I can now carry 9 pieces of copper ore. And you could also consider in between, like, even not having any food in there and eat while you're in town or something. But I think 9 pieces of ore is a pretty good profit. So consider rearranging your inventory as well. It's up to you. The more you can carry, the more your encumbrance goes up, even though your strength is growing. So that's another thing that you want to keep in mind. So here's another little trick I would like to show you. While I was running forth and back between the town and the copper deposit, I found this corpse on the floor. It's a bandit, and he was killed by a group of animals. And what I did is I picked up the corpse. And the good part about this, look at my encumbrance. It's at 68%. As long as I'm carrying that corpse, I'm carrying more weight, of course, and that is very positive for training our strength. So imagine yourself like an Undertaker, Sylvester Stallone, who is training his skills by carrying around corpses. I will just keep him on my shoulder for now and run back to my copper deposit. And this is actually rather kind of amusing. So let us wait for us to arrive there. Hold on. And we are here. And now let's close in with the camera. And let's start mining. And as you can see, I keep the corpse on my shoulder while mining the copper, which means I can now go back, forth and back between this and town, selling the ore, earning money, and also tremendously raising my strength. As you can see, my strength is already at 11, which is going pretty fast. So just keep this guy on your shoulder. He will not try to escape from you, even if he wakes up. So that is the most obscure and bizarre strength training you've seen today. You have to admit that. And I wish I could play the Rocky training theme, but I can't for copyright reasons. And I think it would be slightly inappropriate because this is kind of morbid, but efficient. And sometimes when reloading, save game, some funny glitches can happen. For example, apparently this bandit woke up and is standing upright, but I still have him on my shoulder. So it looks as if I'm mining that copper deposit with the head of that bandit. Yeah. So if you're bored by the grind, at least enjoy little things like that. Another good idea is while you're running forth and back, I still have that bandit on my shoulder. Take a look out for combat, as I mentioned before. And this time, for example, there was a dust bandit. Hold on, I actually had a leader here. His corpse already despawned. And look what he dropped. Heart Protector, which is light armor class. Armored Reg Skirt. Samurai boots, pretty cool. And a spiked helmet. Just laying there, ripe for the picking, so to say, because I was just returning with my copper ore to sell it. I saw some combat, I tried to rush it to see if I could get involved, and found all this stuff. So, once again, it's a cutthroat world, so be cutthroat and look out for stuff to pick up. And once again, if you run out of space and you want to store some items, we will soon get our own little place and have some storage there, but you can still use that little house that we kind of stole from in the beginning. As you can see, in my first video, I put some bandit loot into that chest to store it somewhere in between, and it's all still there, didn't despawn or anything. And I just put some of that armor that I just got from that dust bandit in here. So until we get our own place, use this little place as your personal little storage, And that's pretty convenient. So back to farming now. So here's another little piece of advice when it comes to training strength, because you have seen that my athletics and laboring went up quicker than the other skills, and I just ran into this bandit in a desert. He was all by himself, so I attacked him and managed to kill him, which means we're getting better at actually fighting and defending ourselves. And so what we're going to do now is, carrying that corpse, we're gonna run back to town. You could actually increase the effect of what I'm going to show you by picking up some ore as well. And what you can do while carrying this corpse is just run around town. It seems like a dull activity, but just you know, clicking here and there to keep running. Let us see, maybe we can also pick up a little, yes, there is that conveniently close deposit right here. Iron, which we're gonna need later on. So let us fill up our inventory. Still carrying that corpse. Don't forget, double left click means you can see your progress with mining, and you can also see when the output is full. And just like with the copper, 5 iron ore units will fill up the output. So let us get to 5 real quick. I mean, how badass is that? Mining while carrying a corpse, that's like mining with an extra strength handicap. And all of that is going to increase our strength quite a bit. We're at 15 right now, which is halfway where we want to go, because I would really aim for athletics and strength at 30. We're going to take a look at some of the other stats later on. So let's fill up the inventory. There we go. Just put 7 random pieces of iron ore into the inventory. And while carrying that corpse, we have 75% encumbrance. So that's going to be our training weight. And now we're just gonna walk around town. So in case we get ambushed, we can just walk right back into town. It really doesn't matter what direction you're going. Just keep circling the town a little bit. I mean, we could consider running to the neighborhood town, but then again, there's always a risk of getting ambushed there. And we want to have an escape road in case things go wrong. So, just by doing this, and I mean, you can, like, I don't know, watch a video, listen to a podcast, listen to an audiobook, whatever you want to do while doing all this, you just can increase your strength. And you've seen strength already is at 16. So we're actually making progress. So basically, if you just go like this and then run up here, don't have to keep clicking or anything. From there, we're going to go here. And then finally back to town center. And you can see my strength goes up, and so the encumbrance goes down a little bit because we're stronger. So the same weight is not going to encumber us as much as it used to. That's why after carrying all that ore around, it's really helpful if you have a corpse to carry around. Let's see. You can see the strength going up pretty quickly. And so if you do that, once again, imagine the Rocky Balboa training theme, training montage. While watching this, we're carrying a corpse, training our strength the very morbid way. Anyway, keep doing this. So build up some bulk, and it's way cooler than those old Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilding guides, right?